Well, look what we have here. I see merchantman, I click merchantman. So predictable.
We got him, aren't you?
But I guess I don't blame you. I've got to admit though, when I thought to myself, if I was to take all the Star Citizens and pop them in a big hydraulic press, slowly squeezing and compressing them to extract the purest essence of what Star Citizens really desire the most from this game, Space Walmart wouldn't have been my prediction. But I guess the idea of dropping into an OM marker and there just being 5 or 6 merchantmen there hawking their wares to the average discerning space tourist is actually pretty cool. And when you really start to break it down and you add in crafting and customization and beacons and stuff, you can really start to see how this can become a massive, fundamental pillar for the game and for the interaction between players. We're gonna get into it like Anakin into a Tusken Raider camp. But first, we've got a giveaway to do. This one was for the Spirit Paint Pack. The question was simply, what is your favourite part of CitizenCon? And the winner is... the Lurker. I'd say my favourite part of CitizenCon was the info on the tools being developed for orgs. This will be greatly appreciated, especially being able to assign permissions. Congratulations dude, I should have already contacted you, so we'll get back in touch and we'll get that straight over to you. Next up, since it's Christmas, let's give away a ship. We're giving away an Intrepid with LTI and a couple of paints, including the Oblivion, the Altair, and the limited Black Friday Nocturne paint. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed and answer the question, what is your favourite ship in the game? Not daily driver, not for combat or for a specific purpose, just flat out favourite ship if you were forced to choose. I'll try and get that drawn before Christmas sometime. Good luck everyone. If you know anyone looking to get into Star Citizen, please use one of the codes on screen now for some extra starting credits. If you'd like to sponsor this channel, you can get your referral displayed and get some extra entries into those competitions, and all that info will be below. With all that out the way, let's get on with the show. The Banu Merchantman. This, for a variety of reasons, has got to be truly the game's most anticipated ship, and it seems the more we get to see of it, the greater that anticipation grows. Unfortunately, the ship is still nowhere to be seen, and the work for it ceased a while back, and never picked back up again. But as the systems come online that will allow trading and the like to function, maybe we'll see an internal push to get this out the door. The Merchantman is a very special ship though, there's no getting around it. The promise of it is, at this point, quite unique within the boundaries of the game. And it's different in a way that excites a lot of people. And peaking all of that, we have its very distinct design language, taking such a massive divergence from what we've seen so far, apart from in the Defender that is. So find a comfy chair, get yourself some snacks, and let's get into everything we know about this splendorous alien Leviathan. The Merchantman is a large, heavy freight ship from Banu Suli. It's essentially a trading ship capable of landing or docking and then inviting locals in to view what its cargo holds have to offer. The ship design, perfected by generations of Banu development, is designed to impress upon the visitors the Banu's deep love for artisan craftsmanship, whilst also making them feel welcome, easing any security concerns and loosening their wallets. Its primary distinctive feature is an onboard marketplace where the owners can display and sell wares from across the galaxy. And barring any other ships jumping the queue to provide that service before it, this will be the first ship with such capability in the game. Which raises a lot of questions, mostly regarding functionality and security. Some of these questions were answered at CitizenCon, in fact, even with just some of the basic tools like blocking ability or the hostile list, we could find ways to restrict player provided services from any bad actors out there. Add to that the new party finder functionality and it should be a reasonably smooth process of finding the items you're looking for and what ship is offering them, whilst also building up that blacklist between traders of people who are denied service. And I'm pretty confident that this sort of gameplay will become an absolute linchpin of the game, because a lot of people can't be bothered to go find stuff, or gather the resources to craft it. It creates a way for lots of players to just go and do the tasks and play the game the way they choose, and still have access to the gear and materials from the areas of the game they avoid. To keep things civil, it may be required to enforce rules like you're only allowed to approach wearing an undersuit, no armour, backpacks, weapons or med pens and things. Then you only need one armed bouncer on the door to enforce that. Threats from other ships would still remain a major concern, however. But the merchantman isn't defenceless. At the last count we had 2 turrets under the wings, with possibly 4 size 4s on each, and the 2 size 5 on the man turret that pops out from the top hat section of the ship. The pilot has 2 hidden weapons along the flanks of the nose that might be size 8. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then there's 4 PDCs as well, 2 on top and 2 underneath. And then there's the fighter hangar as well. So I mean, we could have an absolute hunter-killer corner shop on our hands. Fully staffed, it's not something to be trifled with. I get the feeling for its size it won't be a slouch in the speed, armour or shields department either, which should make it pretty impenetrable. Probably able to hold out long enough for your paid security services to arrive in plenty of time. Especially if the traders all group up in areas, to not only defend each other but to help pay the security bills of the PvP fighters who respond to defend them. Now, there's probably holes in that, I'm just spitballing here, so feel free to disassemble in the comments. Maybe CIG will just straight up grant a toggleable amnesty zone around the ship, like a shop mode or something. Something akin to the rules of war surrounding shooting medics, except enforced. Might be a good idea for hospital ships as well, in fact. I mean, I doubt that's going to happen, and I'm not too sure if I'd even like it to, but it would solve a lot of problems. Or maybe you could buy access to the shield tech that was shown for bases at SitCon. It would only really work in high security systems like Stanton though. It would mean any visiting ships would be left outside the bubble, and you'd have to EVA in to disable the shield generator before you could even hope to attack ship to ship. Who knows, that's the best ideas my tiny walnut could conjure, but definitely let me know your solutions below. Personally, I think they'll just get left to the mercy of the pirates and the security forces defending them, which would be interesting, let's face it. Now, throughout this video you're going to see images from all stages of the development process, so as usual take everything with a pinch of salt, but the latest information we got saw quite a big shift away from the earlier, darker, more industrial looking concepts, into a truly alien and very feminine, almost elvish style. Everything seems to have very natural influences. The Banu merchantman name was inspired by 19th century sailing ships that travelled from port to port hawking sometimes dubious wares, which, let's face it, won't be too far from the truth given some of the ill-gotten gains we can expect from Star Citizen players. But let's start the tour at the cockpit and work our way down through the ship. So, in the cockpit we've got 4 stations, pilot, co-pilot and 2 remote gunners. I'm not sure what's going on at the very front there. It would be nice if there was a command interface there, but they did say the Banu have more of a shared command structure where everyone is equal, so I'm not 100%. These chairs use some of that Xi'an tech to float up, giving the pilot a better view of the situation. Behind that we've got some armour lockers and enough escape pods for the bridge crew and some extra. And everything's set out very well and it's all nice and spacious and pretty unique. The only drawback I see is that you have to actually be fully at your station to see what's going on outside. You know, it's very lacking in the visibility department. Coming a little further back still and we have access to the manned turret. And this whole room is very shrine-like. The turret and chair float and there's a very deliberate atmosphere. Almost like the use of this turret requires serious meditation before committing some aggressor to the void. I like this a lot. It is not just your average ship gun. If this thing gets deployed, someone has taken the decision to impose judgment and implication on another's life. So, obviously when we get it, its primary use will be for warming freaking double dogs and drawing boobs on old man Hurston's big gold statue. Below the bridge area we move into an actual shrine area, an actual religious place of worship where the Banu can no doubt worry their divinities about the price of Stormwall cheese or the holy burden of $1,000 CCU chain. Or maybe if the gods also questioned the divine tax on ship showdown skins. Or just how many microtransactions it takes to buy salvation. Okay, stopping. Moving on. Behind that we have the medical area, and this is really well catered for. We have a normal medical bed for treatment in the middle, but beside that we also have 2 Uruk birthing pods. At this point I'm not sure these will even make it into the final design, but I loved this. This was a really cool idea. Added a fair chunk of relevance and importance to the whole revival and being reskinned thing. But I do also love the convenience of spawning in an Usra, so I'm a bit conflicted on that one. Going to be a cool room though, and they did say in one interview that these were recovery baths. So you'd get your surgery and then you'd lie in them to recover for a while. Which, if true, would mean they have zero function at all really, so yeah. I vote for gloopy citizen flesh factories for respawning in here.
I'm dripping with goo.
Hidden behind there is a medical officer station, as well as some storage and access to the bath refill system, if that ever becomes a thing. Some absolutely sick doors as well kicking around this place, that somehow you instinctively know are not human made. Except that they were, obviously. Moving on from there we have a massive social recreation area. Food making and places to eat, a giant star map here as well, and you're probably starting to notice a massive difference, right? Between this and other ships, I mean. A lot of things here, and the way they are set out, aren't for functional or space conservation reasons. This whole ship is just a sci-fi artist's meandering dream. And there will be restrictions, sure, but adhering to them with this aesthetic just feels a lot more like playing with the space, other than being defined by it. Think of the Carrack, say. Zero wasted space, every area functional and put to great use. This thing, however, is just a pure fantasy ship, where it's almost as if tensile strength and structural integrity long ago became irrelevant as material science and tech progressed. I've never really had the merchantman bug, to be honest, but after researching and making this video, it's quickly becoming my most anticipated ship as well. Through this door we have access to a secondary control for the hangar, and again we've got crazy awesome hangar door animations. The fighter bay is capable of at least housing a Banu defender, which is actually a decent size, and so should also fit the Eclipse and a Sabre if that's the case. The movement on these doors kind of matches the ones we see for the exterior wings as well, with everything interlocking and sliding over and into place. Really well thought out as usual from CIG. They really know how to tickle that engineering soft spot sometimes. There's a few lifts around this area as well. We have the foyer area where passengers will exit the main lift. Then through here we have the meeting room, supposedly where Banu negotiations that might take hours or days will take place. For us though, I guess it's just a good place for trading org meetings or just meetups in general. I personally find it's a great setting to help explain your pledge history to your accountant, or for making ritual sacrifices if he doesn't appreciate the finer points of your vision for galactic supremacy. All hail the Lord God, Ninny of the Nonny. Very nice view down into the cargo area as well from up here, almost as if to highlight the possible topic of discussion, or reassure everyone that there's no foul play going on, tempt the sale further perhaps, make it seem within reach. Again, everything is just stunning. Mostly pointless, but absolutely stunning. We've got VIP suites as well, these are very snazzy, possibly even more so than the Origin ones we've seen. The natural nautilus shape of this room really coming through here, as it spirals away behind itself to what looks like an ensuite. Down in the cargo bay, it just looks massive from the floor level. Last check this was 2880 SCU of cargo, which has been cut back a bit since concept, but it's still tons. Honestly, just really impressive stuff. Begs the question though, how will they handle inventory management whilst buying stuff? You've just walked in with nothing but an undersuit on, where does the item go when you buy it? I suppose since everything's physicalised, there will be a literal ton of tinkering with storage boxes, and you, as the trader, make up an SCU crate for each customer to tractor away to their ship, filled with their goods. That honestly sounds like a massive pain in the arse, not gonna lie. Thousands of unmarked boxes you'd have to manually rifle through to find items. That's probably worst case scenario. Hopefully there will be a massive ship inventory that you have to place things into to get them displayed. Then when someone buys something, it can be auto-transferred to their ship or a location of their choosing. I can smell an absolute Hull E's worth of edge cases and exploits waiting to happen here though, but I'm sure it will all get ironed out, like 2 or 3 patches after release. Possibly. We got a look at the new sleeping quarters as well, with this communal sitting area in the middle. Distinct lack of holographic TVs and gaming PCs in here, which is a bit worrying to be honest, not even so much as a bloody Etch-a-Sketch. I mean, what do the Banu do in their spare time? Just sit here and play freaking various bouts of extreme haggling? I'm really not sure about the serious boudoir vibes going on here though, coupled with, the lack of entertainment. I'm just saying. I've heard the after-sale Banu offshore orgies are not to be missed. We've caught the occasional glance at the engine rooms a few times as well, looking pretty awesome in there. I really hope that when the new team comes along to take this over, they don't just scrap everything for some new vision. I really love the way this is going. And that brings us at last to this central trading chamber, which should have around 8 separate stores with 4 on each level. And this will be the main entrance into the ship for any prospective buyers. The design is aiming for something akin to a high-end Middle Eastern bazaar, with long drapery and fabric awnings, and should be an exquisite sight for customers to behold upon entering the ship. The ship will also have docking entrances that should lead straight into this area also, but the main mouth of the ship acts as a stairwell, and will likely have holographic adverts and displays as you ascend. The design is constantly flowing, there's very little straight edges, full of overlapping panels and inlaid precious stones, with swathes of golden detailing etching all the walls, all very ornate and stylish. We don't know the particular functionality of these shop stations. I'm guessing and hoping it will be a mix of things you can go over to and pick up and inspect and then buy, but also terminals that can give access to larger items or bulk purchases. And I really hope that the game evolves with this, that VoIP takes centre stage here and you can haggle a bit and get to know your regulars a bit better and stuff like that, instead of just a cold transaction between passing players in the night. So overall then, what can we expect from this monolith of commerce within the game? There will be a constant supply and demand generated between these ships. Maybe your whole merchantman only sells ores and raw materials used in the crafting process, so you need to pay miners and haulers and spelunkers to get what you need to sell. Then above up the chain you have the wholesale crafter merchantman, who's just churning out tons of armour and weapons at cheaper prices than regular stores. Then above that you've got the genuine custom markets, where everything is really expensive, but some very hard to find materials need to be sourced to create them. Could be weapons with rare custom skins or decals, could be enhanced with more firepower or fire rate, they could be org specific and made to order with custom colours and logos, etc. And there will be various players who will need to feed resources into all these economies, not to mention the guys whose primary function it is to go out and find people with custom gear to kill, so they can sell it back to the traders and the cycle can repeat. It's actually a genuinely fascinating concept to sit and ponder on. We could see massive guilds, backed by various orgs, really become powerhouses of industry, linking up bases and refineries and hauling operations that make competition from lone traders almost impossible. Not only will they have to sell at higher prices, but they won't be covered by the same level of protection offered by the guilds, who will obviously expect a cut of the profits. We could then see competing factions rise and fall, and prices fluctuating to match, wars breaking out, whole sections of solar systems just becoming player-policed no-go zones for the resources they contain. I mean, I personally love the idea of the possibility of just being a rogue trader, either just solo or with a few people, skirting the law, taking chances, sticking it to the big orgs when I get the chance. But But at the end of the day, the power in Star Citizen will inevitably lie with the most powerful orgs. Whoever can secure the most resources, the best fighters, the most organised and cutthroat tacticians, that's how this game will look in the future if everything goes to plan. And to be honest, I think that even being a remote possibility is absolutely incredible. A part of me wants to resist because of the inherently shitty reflection it will have to real life, but at the end of the day, it's a game, where we will get to do daring things and have spaceships and meet new people, so win or lose any given battle, it's really a win-win. Being part of those bigger orgs will be an absolutely staggering, thrilling experience when it comes to fighting for control. Being part of a smaller one that feeds the larger ones in exchange for protection would be as well. Having the independence to not worry about getting wiped out because you're not big enough, but also paying in enough to be under the umbrella and still keep building your little empire. Exchange goods for friendly prices, show up to battles to help out your allies, and just generally react to the ebb and flow of the grander tapestry of the game. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I've just completely went off on one there. Can't even equip a freaking gun right now in the game half the time, and I'm talking like we're galaxy-shaping empires spanning millennia. So, obviously, we should probably rein things in a bit. You can sell stuff you find, rare trinkets and stuff you've made, from hard-to-obtain blueprints. That's what fundamentally we can do with the Merchantman. And even though capital ships are in the game now, we could definitely bring this thing to a gunfight. Even in a supporting role as an extra fighter hangar, some additional guns and a whole bucket load of extra resupply, it wouldn't be too outrageous. You could run cargo, I suppose. You could do box delivery. And I'm only half joking there because delivery is likely something that should be taken pretty seriously. If you've got 100 merchantmen on the server, then goods delivered right to your base's doorstep could definitely end up influencing a sale. Also a consideration is use of ships this size for server-wide player-organised events. The Polaris and the Merchantman would make great PvP FPS combat arenas. Disable the gravity generator halfway through the match to keep things interesting, with the onboard medical facilities to keep the game flowing quickly to boot. You could host bare-fist boxing tournaments, you could get a game of Among Us going, or some whodunit type mystery shenanigans. Christ, you could even get a decent game of hide and seek in here. Or, you know, whatever. I'm just saying, it's a cool ship. Rubbish at racing, everything else is definitely worth a try. Anyway, I hope you didn't mind my sanctimonious skull seepage concerning the future prospects of the Banu Merchantman. We'll be doing more of these, so definitely let me know what you'd like to see, or if there's any aspects you think I've missed or would like to see covered. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you ever so much for spending some of your busy day in the resort, and I'll hopefully see you again sometime. 07 guys.